Hi everyone, I'm Walter.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to Unit 19, Too Frail for Jail. So the Japanese situation at the moment is quite low when we're talking about the aging society. The aging society in Japan is diminishing the workforce as well as hindering the economic growth. Now, a lot of people are struggling to make ends meet, especially the older generation, just by even getting by and getting necessities for their daily life. And as well as saving up for their golden years are anything but.
Diminish.
Diminish.
Golden years.
Golden years.
Anything but.
Anything but.
The Japanese government does provide various jobs to the elderly in order for them to sustain themselves, but it is simply not enough. There are elderly citizens in their 70s who even have to take care of their parents who are in their 90s. Sustain.
Sustain.
And there was one such case of an elderly woman, being 71, who actually killed her husband, age 70, and her parents-in-law, who were into their 90s. The stress and desperation that she felt from having to take care of 3 elderly people, and it just became too overwhelming, so she eventually became too desperate and strangled them to death. Strangle.
Strangle. Which obviously is terrible, and you go straight to jail hopefully you go straight to jail for that sort of situation. When the word jail comes to mind, what do you think?
Well, I think of the UK and the TV show, which is called Scared Straight, actually.
Okay, yeah.
If you've seen that, it's about kind of delinquent kids being taken to a prison in order to kind of scare them into stop their bad behavior. So when I see those prisons, jails, I think pretty aggressive people in there, people who might kill you if you get on the wrong side of them. I don't think of anything pleasant, to be honest. What about you?
I've actually been to jail.
Oh, wait. Wait, what?
Not obviously as a person who was doing anything bad. I studied justice administration and criminology, so I was not lucky, I guess in a way lucky enough to go and see how a jail works, and it is terrifying. There are a lot of people bunched together, even in Australian jails, where Australia is considered a very well-developed country. It's just so constricting to be in a jail like that, where your privileges are taken away from you. Even though jails are sort of the first step before prison, they're still quite suffocating to be in. Fascinating as an onlooker, but terrible if you were an inmate or a person who was kept in the jail for the time being.
Inmate.
Inmate. Do you think the country is aging quickly here in Korea?
I do feel like the country is aging, I guess. The population is aging a bit. There have been reports of this. I'm not sure if Korea has actually kind of overtaken Japan in the rate that it's increasing, being the aging population. But I do know it's a big issue. People are choosing to have just one kid. Usually it's becoming very financially difficult to raise more than one child. In England, this isn't so much of a problem because education is not as expensive. Education for kids in Korea is so expensive.
Right.
It's insane. So of course this is going to happen. So I think something does need to be done. What about you?
Well, I would agree with you there. Both in Australia as well, education doesn't, unless you decide to go to a public school, isn't that expensive compared to Korea. There are no there are no pressure to go to after-school programs, so most kids don't, to be honest with you. So there isn't that burden for adults to support their child up until university, and most people in Western culture as well. As soon as they graduate high school, they have to support their own university tuition.
Yeah.
So the burden for parents is a lot lighter compared to Korea. So I think, and also the pressure of having to get married before you have kids is not as strict as it is here in Korea.
Yeah.
I know many people who have children and are not married. They're together, but they're not married.
Right.
So I think the society has accepted that you don't have to get married to have children. So again, less pressure.
Right.
Anyway, that wraps it up for our preview section, and we will see you on the review section.